Season 10 of the AFLW has arrived. 18 teams start equal. Who will get it done in 2025? Will the Roos go back-to-back? Will the Lions come back for revenge? Will the Crows have a say on the big stage? Or will a new few teams have their moment to shine? Like the Saints, who haven't yet made finals before, but the recruitments of Baskaran, Clark and Barr will have something to say. Oh, and of course, the return of the team's best player and star midfielder in Georgia Patrikios. Remember the name, Georgia Patrikios. Will the Pies rise up after drafting the biggest name from the draft in the number one draft pick, the young superstar in Ash Centra? Melbourne, is it finally their year to go back to the top where they feel they belong? McNamara flying, Kate Hoare flying, Molly O'Hare arriving. Will the D's go flying in 2025? Or will the Dockers and their returning duo of Kiara Bowers and Ange Stannett have something to say?
Is it Tiger time, led by the best player in the competition in Mon Conti and the player with the booming left foot kick in Ali McKenzie, Ali Dalloway, skipper Katie Brennan? Is it finally Tiger time?
Finally. Don't write off the Eagles. Got the best key defender in the game in Charlie Thomas and the most versatile player in the game and a young superstar in Ella Roberts. With booming young draftees like Lucia Painter, will the Eagles be painting their names as the Premier in 2025? Strap yourselves in. This season is going to be something special. I'm excited. Are you? Let's go!
The 2024 AFLW Premiers as they win by 30 points. Last year, they had the heartbreak. This year, they get the retribution. The Roos have done it by 30 points. Last year, heartbreak, as I said, turned to retribution. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Scoops AFLW show. I'm your host, Scoops, the sole admin of Scoops, and wow, Hawthorn, pretenders, straight sets. They've been sent packing. The Blues are on fire. And they're the most informed side in the competition at the moment. Yes, North Melbourne are doing very well. But North Melbourne, have done it in patches. Carlton, 4 quarter performances the last 2 weeks. Are we here to say that Carlton are generally a shout to win the 2025 AFLW Grand Final? Time will tell. They beat Brisbane, who they got this week in the prelim in Brisbane. They beat Brisbane in Brisbane at the start of the year, although it was very, very early days when Brisbane were all over the place. Now, red-hot firing Lions and Sophie McKay and Belle Dawes having some banter at each other through the post-game with Soph and today with Belle Dawes, at Brisbane today at their press conference during training. So it's on at Springfield. No, this is not The Simpsons. That is in Brisbane. Brisbane Carlton's going to be a matchup you don't want to miss. And neither will be North Melbourne and Melbourne. You want to see that. You want to get there. You're going to watch it at worst. You've got to see this clinical performance. 2 massive prelims. I'm excited. Are you? That's my famous catchphrase on this podcast and in my intro to every episode. I am excited to see who will be heading into this year's 2025 AFLW Grand Final. Will the Roos, Melbourne, Adelaide, so not Adelaide, they're out of here as well, like Hawthorn. Will Melbourne, North Melbourne, Brisbane, and Carlton, which 2 sides will be heading to this year's Grand Final? Will we have a three-peat of it being North and Brisbane? I got a feeling it's going to be something different that's not North Melbourne and Brisbane. I'll tell you who I think later on in my predictions for the 2 prelims. Now, obviously, you're going to go through the weekend's games and preview the prelims. I've got some trade goss I want to go through and everything in between all that. A lot of trade goss. And I want to start off with all that goss. But before I do so, if you want me on Cameo, head to cameo.com/Cooper G. Want me to roast a friend who's having a birthday, anything at all, cameo.com/Cooper G. If you know any AFLW players and you want to see them on the channel in a Golden Challenge and or interview, please do send me a message and we'll try and get something sorted. We'd love to have more players on, the better. Alrighty. Now, it is now time for the massive trade news. Well, not trade news. Well, yes, it is trade news and also big news in general. Now, I have broken these exclusives on Facebook in the last 3 to 4 days, but I'm going to continue the exclusives here. I can exclusively reveal to you all that Gold Coast have signed AFLW great, South Australian pioneer of women's football, the former Port and Adelaide player and current commentator on Channel 7, Erin Phillips, will be the new head of women's footy at the Gold Coast Suns AFLW side. Yep, it's on. Massive news. What do I think about that? I think it's a massive coup for the Suns. Obviously, it's not a playing capacity or coaching or anything like that. But, you know, having someone like that at your club could just make people want to go there alone. Especially when your name is Erin Phillips and the pioneer of women's footy. Probably one of the most, the biggest name in women's footy to this day. That's a former player. You just don't know what that'll mean for the rest of the club going forward with recruits and draftees and everything like that. But yeah, Erin Phillips is the new head of women's footy at the Gold Coast Suns. Now, sticking with the Suns, I can exclusively reveal also that AFLW players Jamie Stanton, Clara Fitzpatrick, Sienna McMullen and Kiara Bishop have been told to look for new clubs as they won't be offered new deals as of right now. I might as well continue with this trade goss while I'm at it too. Change the order up here. I can also exclusively reveal to you all that Essendon, GWS and Richmond have all approached the Gold Coast Suns, AFLW, about wanting the number 1 draft pick. And I cannot stress this enough, that Richmond desperately want Chloe Bound from Victorian inside mid, dominate for Vic Metro and everything like that. They wanted her for a fair while, Richmond. Obviously, Richmond have a top 5 pick already, same as Essendon and GWS. They obviously all got a player in mind that they're worried that the other is going to steal. So they're all trying to steal Gold Coast's number 1 draft pick, who've got a bunch of academy players they've got to worry about and get more draft pick selections. And you can use future picks as well, and everything like that. So, yeah, watch your space on Gold Coast's number 1 pick. It could be a good chance to be gone. Gold Coast may want to split pick, so they have a lot of picks within 18 to match bids for Georgia Davies, Ava Usher, Alana Welsh, Dakota Barron, Sunny Lappin, etc. So, yeah, Gold Coast are on the move this trade period and draft period. It's going to be a massive, massive make or break trade and draft period for the Gold Coast Suns. Otherwise, if they don't succeed in this trade period and draft period, they're going to be in for another miserable year. I'm telling you that right now. But, yeah, if Richmond get pick 1, I will be pretty confident it's Chloe Bound. I will do an AFLW Phantom draft in about a week or 2 time. Probably after the grand final, I will do an AFLW Phantom draft. I've done the power rankings a few months back, so you can go and check that out if you haven't already. But yeah, Richmond really want Chloe Bound from Victorian inside mid, and they met for a fair few times as well. Some trade goss. I have been saying for a while that Jess Good and Bryn Harrington, from Carlton's 2 rucks. St Kilda should be looking at those 2 rucks. Now, there was talk last week that Ally Morphett has met with Carlton, the Swans' young star ruck, is looking to get out of the Swans, and Carlton are keen and interested. If I'm Jess Good and Bryn Harrington, thinking Ariana Hetherington from North Melbourne, Jess Good and Bryn Harrington have got to see this news and go, okay, where's my future lie? Jess Good just played a 50th game on the weekend and won under her on that milestone. And Brent Harrington's having an amazing season. I'll be looking at this going, gee, if Ally Morphett's coming in, one of us is getting shafted to the emergency list and not playing regularly, and the other, if there's a spot in the forward line, will play forward. So Harrington, I don't think Carlton want to lose. If I'm St Kilda and we need a ruck, because let's be real, St Kilda don't have a number 1 ruck or a number 2 ruck. We've only got backup options. So realistically, if St Kilda are real, they should be targeting. Personally, I'll be targeting Brent Harrington first. Or if I'd be more bold, in fact, and I would target both Jess Good and Brent Harrington together, because St Kilda have no rucks. Carlton have shown that those two can play together, and Harrington can play as well. If Ally Morphett was coming to Carlton, Jess Good would not be playing, and Harrington may be playing forward and playing less minutes. Both are too good to be not playing AFLW regularly, so St Kilda should be making a bold, aggressive move to target Jess Good and Brent Harrington, in particular Brent Harrington, as a first choice. But try and get both, and that would help St Kilda's ruck issues and key forward depth options. Harrington can play forward as well, if need be. So in help Wardlaw. For St Kilda, I'll be looking at Mia Austin. I know she's finally got back into the side where she deserves to be in the side. Mia Austin, she's a really good forward. We've seen this for a fair while, a few years in fact. Mia should look at some options as well, despite being in the last few weeks. Kicked 2 goals on the weekend, almost kicked 3. But yeah, that's what the Saints should be doing. So if I'm Jess Good and Brent Harrington, I'm seeing Carlton, your club, who's in a prelim, looking at Ally Morphett and meeting her already. That probably tells you the writing's on the wall. Now, this is no guarantee to happen, but even then, I look at Jess Good and Brent Harrington, I would say, look, you're looking at a contracted Swans ruckman who may not be leaving anyway. Why would I want to stay when you're going to look for other rucks who would be ahead of us? So I'd be looking elsewhere, regardless if Morphett goes or not. Then it'll backfire on Carlton that way. Now, Brooke Borlow's been to Carlton, the Crows young player in her second year. She has interest from Carlton and maybe heading to Carlton. So a lot of Carlton gossip going around at the moment, and Gold Coast gossip, but that's the gossip I got for you all. And Eden Zanker is almost all but certain to leave the Melbourne Football Club where she started her career, set to join West Coast or Fremantle. I'm leaning towards West Coast at this stage still, but time will tell. Taylor Harris, who tried joining Hawthorn last year, is officially re-signed on a 2-year deal. Ruby Tripodi from the Roos, young midfielder, is re-signed for another 2 years. Very important considering Riddell and Garner, probably in the last 2 to 4 years between them. Me, King, and Tripodi, Amy Smith, and co. Are the midfielders they want leading into the future permanently. So there you go. And Collingwood have signed a former AFLW player in Maisie Nank-Ivul, who played 2 games, I think it was for Brisbane in 2019, has been playing netball since, has come back to AFLW. And Olivia Lewis playing her first ever time at AFLW level. They've both signed with Pies as rookies. Didn't see those coming though, but time will tell. Collingwood need to really address their tools. Collingwood just really, really need to. They've delisted all these tools, and I think they were all the right moves, whether it was through injuries or form base. They all deserved. Collingwood made the right moves in letting them all go. Every single player they delisted last week, it was the right move. Might be harsh, but that's what they need to do. And other clubs need to follow suit. Now, I'm also hearing too that Richmond and Collingwood and Essendon aren't stopping with delistings. I expect 3 to 4 more each for Richmond and Collingwood, and maybe 2 or 3 for Essendon. Now, out of respect to a current AFLW player who is currently playing in the final series, so you can draw your own conclusions as to what team I'm talking about. And this is pretty big. I will probably reveal this after this player's team is eliminated. But there is a premiership player in one of the 4 sides. Now, think smartly. There's a premiership player that is going to be playing, their team is going to be playing in the prelim final. They are a premiership player. They are on the move from this club, and they will be going to another interstate club. There you go. I know you probably figured it out now, but good. I just haven't said the name. So there you go. But if this team gets eliminated on the weekend, I may reveal it next week. But a premiership player from their current club is going to another interstate club. So there you go. So that's the goss for you all. But yeah, there you go. So any more trade gossip I hear, you'll be all the first to know. That's the trade goss. And now it is time for that world famous segment. Scoops goes bang, boom. Hawthorn, straight sets, pretenders. 2 years in a row, the Hawthorn AFLW side have gone out in straight sets. Just let this sink through. Made top 4 somehow. Easy fixture, that's how. Easy opponents, because you don't play everyone once like you should. Hawthorn are pretenders in the AFL and the AFLW. I've been saying this for a while. Straight sets. 2 years in a row. The men's went out in straight sets last year. The women have gone out in straight sets last year and this year. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Hawthorn are pretenders. Hawthorn think they are better than they are. Now, Hawthorn are completely delusional if they think they've got what it takes to make a grand final. And their fan base are delusional. They think they're so good. They think they're the best of the best. Well, to be the best of the best, you have to make a prelim at worst. And you do understand, to make a prelim or to make a grand final, you actually have to win a final. Hawthorn are like Essendon in a whole range of different ways. Essendon's AFL side haven't won a final for God knows over 8,000 bloody days. Hawthorn AFLW are in a very similar trend. Obviously not that long, but like that's the trajectory of where they're going. They're just not that good. They really think they're better than they are. Maybe they weren't too busy making lame, cringe TikTok videos and supposed content and actually worrying about being honest with yourselves. Like the amount of time I hear Hawthorn people say how good they think they are, they're just simply not that good. They have some great players. But do you want to explain to me, Daniel Webster, how you can play players that are injured and clearly not fit enough to play? Like poor Jez Fleming had a knee injury and you clearly thought she shouldn't have played because you played a winger who's played wing her entire career deep at full forward for the entire first half. Now, granted, the ball was hardly down there because they don't know how to get the ball inside 50 either against anyone, let alone Carlton. This is not just an issue they've had in the Carlton game. It's an issue they had against North Melbourne 2 games in a row and throughout the year. They beat up on the bottom teams. Yes, sure, they're not a bottom 4 side. They're better than the, the Bulldogs. Although, by the way, they only just scraped over against the Bulldogs, if you remember that night game at Whitten Oval. You know, they beat Gold Coast by 3 goals or 5 goals, big deal. They beat the Giants, big deal. They beat Essendon, big deal in the second half. They beat them. Like, Hawthorn aren't that good. They got lucky this year again. But see, when they face a real team, they truly get showed the true colours of Hawthorn. They're just simply not that good. And the last 4 weeks, in particular, have proven that they are not as good as they think they are. And then on top of that, you hear Tilly Lucas-Rod is likely to leave with Anya Madonna re-signing. That's going to be a killer blow to the Hawks. I mean, their backline is heavily, reliant on Jenna Richardson and Tilly Lucas-Rod. And apparently Tilly Lucas-Rod is on the way out now, so they're tight salary cap. Rich shows a great defender. But Hawthorn aren't as good as they think they are. They've got to be real with themselves for once and just look at how Carlton are doing it. Now, I was one who thought Carlton weren't going to be good this year, and I thought they got a bit lucky at the start of the year, but they proved me wrong in the second half of the season and everyone wrong. And then they smashed West Coast, and I'm like, okay, now they're a serious threat. You watch them smash Hawthorn. I said this on this show last week. that Hawthorn were going out in straight sets. I've been saying it for weeks. And they did, because I'm not surprised. And Carlton have impressed me the last 2 months. I'm like, shit, Carlton are the real deal now. They smashed West Coast in the wet very easily. And I thought, okay, now they are a serious threat. West Coast are a good young side, but Carlton are a young side too, and they just embarrassed West Coast last week, who are a good side. Then this week I said, yeah, they're smashing Hawthorn because West Coast are better than Hawthorn, and Hawthorn are completely overrated, and they've got a bunch of injuries or playing players that are injured, got no ruck. Lucy Wells is their only ruck on their list, and the only good one that's played the ruck all year for Hawthorn. Maybe they actually recruited well Hawthorn actually, I don't know, looked at their own VFW, so like Paige Price is a ruck, a gun All-Australian ruck who they should have had on their list. Matilda Van Berkel, intercept defender, can play up forward as well if need be. Some good mid-size midfielders and forwards like Stacia Stevenson, and players like that from their VFW side. Look within. You had players from your VFW side that are worthy of being on the list. And I'm telling you right now, there's only some players at Hawthorn that have been getting games lately because they got massive unavailability lately. I'm telling you right now, there is some players at Hawthorn in the tall department, and they should not be getting games. They're just getting games because they're tall, because they got none. And the ones that they have that are good, most of them, they are injured. So Hawthorn really do need to get a hard look at themselves. They just simply are not that good. They thought that they were just going to cruise past Carlton. Well, newsflash, you didn't. You never were. Hawthorn are the most overrated team in the competition. The sooner Hawthorn realise they're not that good, they might actually get better. But if they want to keep thinking like, yeah, we're good, no, you're not. You can brag about all these new facilities you got. You can make lame TikToks all you like, and all that crap. But on the field, you're simply not that good. And you've shown this last month. No Lucy Wales, no Hawthorn. And soon, there's going to be no Tilly Lucas-Rod at Hawthorn. And we're seeing the downfall of the Hawthorn Football Club. And I'm telling you right now, Hawthorn will not be playing finals next year. And if they scrape in, it would be due to another easy fixture. Which begs the question, how they got an easy fixture this year when they made top 4 last year? But let's be real, they actually get North Melbourne and Adelaide and Brisbane and Carlton and West Coast and sides like that, all of them next year. They're not making the 8. I'm telling you that right now. And there'll be other sides that weren't in the 8 this year, like Sydney, that'll be around the mark. So if they face all those sides, they're not winning most of them, if not any of them. So, and this just shows that their depth is terrible, because I'm telling you right now, some of the players have been getting games for them lately is you might as well use the top-up players. That's why Van Berkel and Paige Price and Stacia Stevenson should all be playing ahead of so many players at Hawthorn that are getting games, and I just go, seriously? It's embarrassing. And, Hawthorn can delist some players this week, but it won't change the fact that they went out in straight sets. They were talking about finals and winning finals and grand finals appearances. Well, as per usual, Hawthorn jumped the gun. They got ahead of themselves. And gee, I really feel bad for Eliza West in that midfield. Before she was concussed late in the third quarter, she almost finished the game with more disposal than any other player and missed basically half a game, really. So that was almost embarrassing for Hawthorn in its own. Eliza West is a really good midfielder. She made the bold move to leave Melbourne, and that was the right call for her. But I think she should move again, go to a club where she'll be more appreciated and have more support around her. I mean, because she's a very good midfielder. I feel for Jazz Fleming as well and Anya Madonna, who are playing injured on the weekend. But that's on Hawthorn for not just saying, look, if you're injured, just can't play. And they were playing short on the weekend with some of the selections they made. And don't tell me there was no one else to pick from. There was a few. their emergencies from the weekend were better options than some other players that were playing on the weekend. I'm telling you that right now. Hawthorn have to have a hard, good look at themselves. And for another reason why they need a hard, good look at themselves is their fan engagement. Now, I reckon I went to maybe 6 Hawthorn games this year, and 5.5 of those times it was deplorable. Now, I say 5.5 because 5 times were completely terrible. The one game where I thought their fan engagement was okay was the Geelong game. Funnily enough, they won. All other games, they were pretty pathetic. So Hawthorn, without a shadow of a doubt, in totality, was the worst club for fan engagement. Ironic, isn't it? They call themselves the family club. They promote how they love the fans, yet when there's fan engagement, they don't engage with the fans. They just piss off in the rooms and don't come back. Or a couple of them stay for people they know, or they put a high five and think, oh, yeah, job's done. Just like on the football field, you failed. Embarrassing. Cringe Thorn is the Hawthorn club's name. Not Hawthorn, Cringe Thorn. To the Cringe Thorn Football Club, lift your game. It's pathetic. I feel so sorry for some of the players in there that are very nice and are good players, and they've got to deal with this shit. This is on the club. Lift your game is pathetic. Hope you all enjoyed that edition of the world famous segment, Scoops Goes Bang. All right, it's now time to review those semi-finals, shall we? And wow, how bad was Hawthorn? Straight sets. Adelaide, close loss to Melbourne, but the Melbourne game is first. So 60-49, it was like 41 apiece late in the third quarter. I'm going, this could go either way. But Kate Hall, 3 goals, 26 disposals. She was amazing. Marinoff had her good parts of the game. Shelley Heath as well. But yeah, overall, it was just a good close win for the Demons. And Talia Gillard had a nice run-down tackle in the last quarter on Chelsea Randall. Neve Kelly had a nice game. Tia Charlton kicked a goal, had about 11 tackles as well. Had a good game for the Crows. I think the Crows, overall, to get to where they did when they didn't really have their best year as a club, I mean, they were still solid, which is a credit to the club that they can still get this far and not be that great throughout the whole year and have inconsistencies. You know, they were so close from going to the prelim as well. People got to remember that. Melbourne are in a similar boat, but a bit more better throughout the year. But yeah, you know, Adelaide back to the drawing board. Zoe Prowse is one they can't afford to lose. She's been playing forward the last 3 weeks or so. Apparently she's linked to Collingwood, and that'd be a great addition for Collingwood. They can't afford to lose Zoe Prowse because she's a really important player as a key defender, but played forward the last 3 weeks. So it'd have to be interesting to see where that pans out. But Melbourne are through to a prelim, and unfortunately for the Crows, their season is over. Hawthorn 33, Carlton 79, 46 points to the Blues, and really junk time goals that Hawthorn got, really, to be honest. You know, congratulations Daisy Flockhart, who got her debut goal. Laura Stone, Jazz Fleming, and Madonna got a goal as well. But, you know, it was the Sophie McKay show. 3 goals, like 19 disposals. Mimi Hill was really good. Abby McKay on her birthday was really good one. Abby, 1 in 25. Poppy Schultz was good. The whole Carlton team was great. Bryn Harrington in the ruck was amazing. And here is some highlights. Dana Finn, 2 goals and 19 touches. Now, I love a goal celebration, and this goal celebration from Sophie McKay was a really good one, and I want you all to watch it because it's a celebration that people aren't going to forget for a very long time. It's a celebration you don't want to miss. Here it is. Sophie McKay after kicking one of her 3 goals. Go Hannah. Oh. Go Soph. Yes. There's Soph. Sophie McKay.
3 goals. She's not 3 goals that way.
Sally right here.
Oh, you betcha there'll be something. Sophie McKay. Yes. I knew something was coming. Come on, Soph.
That's a celebration from Sophie McKay. And this is a nice goal from Dana Finn.
Sophie McKay. The Goss. Lily Goss. Can't quite get out of my way, Easy as you like it, Mimi Hill. Play Dana Finn. Go Dana. Oh yes. Dana Finn gets to it. It's a nice snap goal from Dana Finn, the Irish woman. Goes bang.
You know, clinical performance from the Blues. And from the Lions, I am scared of Carlton. And like Soph said after the game, bring it on. It's going to be a great clash at Springfield. And Carlton were amazing. And Hawthorn were terrible. Simple as that. But I'm not shocked. Now let's preview the prelims to wrap us up this evening. I am going to be going through the first game, and that is North Melbourne and Melbourne. Why the hell is this not on a Friday night, by the way? North and Brisbane simply should have been North Melbourne and Melbourne, two Victorian teams. North Melbourne finished on top. They get the extra preference leading into the granny if they make it. They should have been, you know, Friday night. Melbourne was second on the ladder. There's their, you know, common sense. They play Friday night. They get a little bit more of a break to Brisbane. And Brisbane are playing at home the same time as when the grand final would be the following week if it's at Icon Park. So really, they're not losing anything anyway. So common sense, North are on top. So if someone has to get an uneven favour, it's North Melbourne because they are on top. It's ridiculous. This should be Friday night, but they're both on Saturday. Saturday, 3:05 p.m. at Icon Park. It's North Melbourne hosting Melbourne. I'll be tipping North Melbourne in this one by 20 points. I don't think Melbourne can withstand the Roos, who would go into their third consecutive grand final. It's 7:35 p.m. on Saturday night at Brighton Homes Arena. It's Brisbane and Carlton. I'll be tipping Carlton in this one by 7 points, which would be a North Melbourne and Carlton grand final at Icon Park the following Saturday night. And oh boy, that'll be packed, sold out imminently, straight away. I guarantee you that if that happens, it'll be sold out regardless, but in a quick time, record time. So I have Carlton by 7 points, and it would be a Roos Carlton grand final at Icon Park. Out of nowhere for the Blues, that would be. My final thoughts are simply this. If you know any AFLW players, state league players, or draft prospects, and you want to see them on the channel in a goalkeeping challenge and or interview, please do send me a message and we'll try and get something sorted. Thank you all. Good luck to Brisbane, Carlton, Melbourne, and North Melbourne. And to follow all the trade goss, stay tuned to my channel and on Instagram, AFL Info Live, and Scoops All Things Footy 24/7 on Facebook. All right, thank you, and subscribe on this YouTube channel if you haven't already, and Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Thank you. Go Saints, and I don't know why I said go Saints, but yeah, go Saints, and good luck to all four teams this weekend. And Hawthorn are out in straight sets because they are pretenders. Banter Club.